Dragon. It features in the mythology of numerous cultures around the world and is often used as a symbol of royal power. Perhaps the single most common mythological creature found in fantasy fiction, they continue to capture readers' imaginations with their various depictions on page and screen. Lindworm, also spelled Lindworm or Lindworm, is a mythical creature in northern, western, and central European folklore that traditionally has the shape of a giant serpent monster which lives deep in the forest. It can be seen as a sort of dragon. Legend tells of two kinds of Lindworm, a good one associated with luck, often a cursed prince who has been transformed into the beast-like frog prince and Beauty and the Beast stories, and a bad one, a dangerous man-eater that will attack humans on sight. Hydra. Cut off one head and two more will take its place. This was the challenge that faced Heracles when he was commanded to slay the Hydra of Lerna, a many-headed beast, during the second of his labors. Naga, serpentine deities in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, is a serpentine lake monster in Greek mythology and Roman mythology. Its lair was the lake of Lerna in the Argolid, which was also the site of the myth of the Danaides. Basilisk. What's scarier than a serpent? One that's been crossbred with a rooster and can kill with a single stare. Not content with just one power, certain myths also suggest basilisks have the ability to turn silver into gold. The return on investment isn't as good as what Rumpelstiltskin offered, but it's still not bad. The legend of the Warsaw basilisk saw the creature defeated by a cunning local doctor who created a suit made of feathers and mirrors. Centaurs. With the top half of a human and the full body of a horse, centaurs have long served as antagonists in Greek mythology, falling victim to classical heroes like Heracles and Theseus. While these creatures were widely depicted as wild, there was a centaur named Chiron, who possessed great wisdom. He tutored several characters of Greek myth. Werewolf is an individual who can shapeshift into a wolf, or especially in modern film, a therianthropic hybrid wolf-like creature, either purposely or after being placed under a curse or affliction. Often a bite or the occasional scratch from another werewolf, with the transformations occurring on the night of a full moon. Early sources for belief in this ability or affliction, called lycanthropy. Banshee. It is a female spirit in Irish folklore who heralds the death of a family member, usually by screaming, wailing, shrieking, or keening. Cyclops. Most often depicted as a giant with one eye, the Cyclops, which means circle-eyed, first appeared in ancient Greek mythology. Somewhat lesser known than the classic Greek gods, the Cyclopes lived in isolation and tended sheep or goats without any government, society, or community. While scorned for their lawlessness, it was the Cyclopes who created Zeus' thunderbolts, Hades' helmet, which made the wearer invisible, Poseidon's trident, and Artemis's silver bow. Unicorn. Unicorns, a horse or goat-like animal with a single horn, are a commonly depicted mythical creature. From ancient mythology in Mesopotamia, India, Greece, and China, all the way into the modern age, people have been fascinated by these majestic creatures. Unicorns were said to contain healing properties. For example, if you drank from a cup made out of a unicorn horn, you would be protected from poisons. Demon. A demon is a malevolent supernatural entity. Historically, belief in demons, or stories about demons, occurs in folklore, mythology, religion, and literature. These beliefs are reflected in media including comics, fiction, film, television, and video games. Belief in demons probably goes back to the Paleolithic age, stemming from humanity's fear of the unknown, the strange, and the horrific. In ancient Near Eastern religions and in the Abrahamic religions, including early Judaism and ancient medieval Christian demonology, a demon is considered a harmful spiritual entity that may cause demonic possession, calling for an exorcism. Bigfoot. While many believe that this creature is the missing link between apes and human beings, Bigfoot Bigfoot or Sasquatch is widely considered to be a mythological being. Bigfoot is described as being a large, hairy humanoid creature, somewhere between 6 and 9 feet tall. Specific to North American folklore, supposed Bigfoot sightings have occurred in Northern California, Oregon, Washington, and British Columbia. Griffin. A hybrid of a lion and an eagle, the griffin was a powerful, majestic creature of ancient Egyptian and Persian mythology. Traditionally, griffins were depicted with the body, tail, and hind legs of a lion in addition to the head, wings, and talons of an eagle. However, sometimes the art of griffins featured the creatures with lions' front paws as well. In legend, griffins were guardians over great treasure and riches. Dwarf is a type of supernatural being in Germanic folklore. Accounts of dwarfs vary significantly throughout history. They are commonly, but not exclusively, presented as living in mountains or stones and being skilled craftsmen. In early literary sources, only males are explicitly referred to as dwarfs. However, they are described as having sisters and daughters, while male and female dwarfs feature in later saga literature and folklore. Dwarfs are sometimes described as short. However, scholars have noted that this is neither explicit nor relevant to their roles in the earliest sources. Phoenix. The phoenix is a mythical, eagle-like creature, generally known for bursting into flame at the end of their life, only to emerge from the ashes as a young phoenix. In both ancient Egyptian and classical myth, the phoenix was associated with sun worship and was depicted as a large bird, with gold and red feathers that could live for hundreds of years. The phoenix was a symbol of immortality, eternity, and resurrection. Chimera. In Greek mythology, the chimera was a fire-breathing, mythical creature, usually depicted as a lion merged with a goat and a snake, which was related to monsters such as Cerberus. However, the term chimera is now often used to describe any creature that is a hybrid of multiple animals, often composed of wildly different parts. Zombie. For anyone who likes horror films, you'll know that zombies have a long and varied history, not only in Hollywood but in legend. Zombies originated in Haitian folklore, with the Haitian French term zombie or Haitian Creole zombie used to describe a corpse reanimated through magic or other means. Across the years, zombie stories have shifted to meet current cultural fears and contexts, and bodies are often reanimated through viruses or other scientific processes. Bogeyman. Did you grow up thinking that if you didn't behave, the bogeyman, also boogeyman, would get you? The bogeyman was created with the sole purpose of scaring children into good behavior. Because there are variations of the bogeyman in every culture, it is difficult to pinpoint a place of origin. Furthermore, the appearance of the bogeyman differs culturally, as he is sometimes depicted with horns, claws, talons, or hooves. However, the legend of the bogeyman, in all its varying forms, is an almost universal myth. Mermaid. Mermaids have a unique allure that has captivated people throughout history. Myths of half-human, half-fish creatures can be traced all the way back to ancient Babylon. Similarly, merpeople are featured in Syrian, Polynesian, and Greek mythology. While some cultures depicted mermaids as beautiful and romantic, in Irish folklore, mermaids could transform into human form and marry humans. Sometimes mermaid stories took on a more sinister tone, where they were capable of foretelling and bringing disaster. Fairies, also known as a fae or fae, can be traced back to Old French medieval romance stories. These supernatural creatures or spirits are popular across a wide variety of myths, legends, and stories, leading up to the present day. Generally, when we think of fairies or fairies, we think of small, winged, magical creatures. However, fairies were rarely depicted with wings outside of Victorian artwork. In folk tales, fairies flew using magic and occasionally caught a ride on the back of a friendly bird. Ogre. Ogres are featured in folk tales from all around the world. And though the word is of French origin, the creature itself is derived from the man-eating ancient Etruscan god Orcus. Now, many of us know ogres from Shrek, but Shrek is not your typical ogre. Ogres are usually large, tall, and strong with plenty of hair and a huge appetite. They are depicted as either dull and dim-witted or violent. But who knows? Maybe they have layers like an onion. Golems. Famous in Jewish folklore, golems are most often depicted as beings created from inanimate matter such as clay or mud, which have been brought to life to serve some purpose. For example, in some stories, a golem is created to defend against anti-Semitic attacks. According to legend, golems are uniquely obedient and will follow exact and literal orders, so their creators definitely had to be careful with what they asked them to do. Minotaur. According to Greek myth, the Minotaur was the offspring of the Queen of Crete and a majestic bull that came from the sea. The Minotaur had the body of a man with the head and tail of a bull. King Minos was so horrified by this creation that he had a complicated maze called the Labyrinth built to imprison him. Vampire. Over the years, vampires have taken many forms, and I don't mean just turning into bats. While the vampire myth originated in Europe, most cultures have folk tales surrounding vampiric creatures. The most predominant feature of vampires, or vampires, is the consumption of a person's vital essence, most often in the form of blood. It's interesting to note that the pale and sophisticated vampire, which has become commonplace in the media, did not exist before the 19th century.